Hi, everybody, and welcome to this information session hosted by Enterprise Rent Car. It is so fantastic to have you join me this afternoon on this lovely Monday. I don't know about you guys, but from that music, I'm certainly feeling like it's more of a Friday than a Monday. I was definitely getting in the groove there and definitely ready to give you all some fantastic information and answer all of your questions over the next 45 minutes to an hour. So if you've joined us on the Zoom platform, don't worry, you don't have to worry about scrambling around to try and see if your camera is on. It is not, it is set to disable, and the same with your microphone. But please don't leave me on my own here. Please do get in touch and let me know questions that you have and use the chat box function to send me through anything that you want to find out from us today. So we're going to spend around 20 to 30 minutes going through some general information, answering all of your questions, and obviously opening up for further conversation between the participants as well. So thank you for joining. I am just going to bring up some information and we will get started. Before I pull up my presentation, I just want to introduce myself. So I am Laura James. I work at Enterprise Rent Car and I have done for quite a while, actually nearly 16 years now. I know you probably can't tell that because obviously I just look so young, but believe you me, I have been here for 16 years. And I'm going to talk you through the way that I started my career and why Enterprise is an absolutely fantastic option if you're looking for a graduate career or indeed an industrial placement too. So a lot of this information is housed on our website and some of it may have been shared with you, but I'm going to give you an overview and I'm going to give you my perspective as we go through. So my role currently is that I work in talent acquisition. However, I didn't start there. I started on the Graduate Management Trainee Programme. I worked through junior management up to area manager, and then I came across to recruitment. The fantastic thing about my role is I get to talk about how great this company is and the multiple opportunities that it's given to me. And the other fantastic thing is that I am not done in terms of my own progression. What you'll find out is that at Enterprise, we have opportunities at every single stage in your career. So it's really exciting from the moment that you join and it doesn't stop being exciting. So let's get started. Why should you join Enterprise? Now we know that we are not the only option. We also know that most people don't grow up dreaming about renting cars. I certainly didn't. But what you should know is that we are so much more than that. We were started in the 1950s by Jack Taylor. And Jack wasn't a business owner. He wasn't sort of industry leading or anything like that at that early stage. He just had a bit of a dream. And he invested all of his money from his military career in a handful of vehicles. And he started Enterprise. Jack's dream was always that if we looked after people first, then the profits would follow. And thankfully, that played out really well for us. The profits did follow and the growth did follow. And we are now industry leaders. But we haven't lost the heart of our business, and that is still people. It is still our customers, it is still our employees. This slide here shows just a handful of the initiatives that Enterprise gets involved in. These are both internally, where we celebrate our employees and their differences and the fantastic strengths that they all bring to our business, but also externally too, where we work with the local communities, we work with charities, and we work on global initiatives for several different reasons. These are a few of the global initiatives that we're currently running. You may well have seen them if you've been on our website already. But as I mentioned, people are at the heart, and we need to make sure that we don't just invest our time, but our finances too in the right way. We have several initiatives to offset emissions because ultimately we do understand that we are in the transport sector. And therefore, we do have nearly 2 million vehicles on the planet. And we want to make sure that we are offsetting that through conservation projects and through our 50 million tree pledge as well. We also want to make sure that we invest our time and our finances in strengthening the communities. One of the lovely initiatives that you can see here is Fill Your Tank. Now, Fill Your Tank started in 2016, and that was a pledge of $65 million to address global food insecurity. It's something that we have done at high level, at senior level, but it's also something that our employees on a local level have been involved in and been out to food banks and been able to really rally around local businesses to also support great initiatives such as this. So it's really important to understand that at the heart of our company is so much more than car hire. It is a beating heart of people. people that care about one another as employees, but also the community too. So where did it all begin? Now, as I've mentioned, we started in the 1950s in America, and we are still actually owned by the Taylor family. However, we don't just operate in America anymore. We're in 90 countries. We have an annual revenue of $22.5 billion, a workforce, a fantastic workforce of 80,000 employees globally. Like I've said, nearly 2 million vehicles and 9,000 locations. Now, there's a few things that this slide shows. It shows how secure our business is, because ultimately we are the transport sector. And unless you've been under a rock for the last 18 months, you'll be perfectly aware that people haven't traveled very far. However, this is still where we are. We are still this strong, and our employees very much benefit from the security that a company like Enterprise provides. One other thing worth mentioning on this is the fact that we do operate in numerous countries. And so we do encourage people to be aware of the opportunities that aren't just on their doorstep. Yes, you can benefit from Enterprise all over the place, and you don't have to relocate. But we do have amazing opportunities and relocation packages for people that do want to. And quite frequently, we do see that. People relocating from one location to another for a promotion, maybe relocating, into a different country even. And we'll very much support that within our business and support that mobility and that progression. So what do we do? I keep saying we're not just car hire, but what are our products and our services? What will you be doing? What will you be getting involved in? Now, I realize this is quite a detailed diagram, but I want to draw your attention right to the center. Customers. Like I said at the start, employees and customers come first. Our brand has only evolved because we've listened to our customers. And what we found was that when we listened, we realized that we couldn't provide everything that they were looking for. And so we moved from just being car hire through Enterprise Rent-A-Car to car hire through Enterprise Rent-A-Car, Animal and National. We then branched into car share through Enterprise Car Club. We grew a fleet of exotics, which are exactly what you think they would be, the Aston Martins, the Lamborghinis, the cars that we all wish we owned ourselves. And we also have a fleet of leasing vehicles, which is now the UK's largest. There's a couple of these strands that have been really interesting and a really great string to our bow through the pandemic. Enterprise Car Club being the first one, because our customers could access vehicles without having to deal with a human being, which I'm sure you can understand provides a lot of security for a customer who doesn't want to, put themselves at risk of contracting anything. The other one is Enterprise Flexi Rent. The reason Enterprise Flexi Rent has been so well established through the last 18 months is because of the fleet of vehicles that we have and the flexibility that we provide to companies. I know you've probably seen Enterprise branches and vans all over the place since you started looking at us as a potential employer, but you've probably seen around 10 times more Enterprise-owned vehicles than you even realise, because our fleet is so diverse. We have ambulances. We have those huge trucks that you've probably been in to have a vaccination or a test recently as well. So believe you me, we are pretty much in all of the transport industry's space. So what is important at Enterprise? Lots of things are important at Enterprise, and they're very much identified by these 8 values. So alongside the fact that our founding value is that we look after employees and customers first, these 8 pertain to the other areas of our business that we care about. And I'm not going to go through them one by one, but you can see that there's some common strands here. One of the reasons I've joined and stayed at Enterprise for so long is because of how honest it is. It's a very ethical company. A company that ensures that we have ethical strategies for moving forward and growing. A company that ensures that employees understand those and best practice. And a company that won't settle for anything less. So whether that be that we continue to have training and conversations internally, or whether that be that we actually go out to the local businesses that we deal with and ensure they're ethical too. It's something that really is important to us. Another one that I want to draw your attention to is the fact that our doors are always open. Now, it happens to be the final one on this slide, but to me, it's one of the most important, and it's something that we see playing out every single day. This is all about diversity. It does not matter about your background. It does not matter about your ethnicity, your sexual orientation. your ability in terms of whether you have a physical disability, whether you have something invisible. That's absolutely fine, absolutely fine. And I can't encourage you enough to look further at enterprise if that is the case. We want our company to be as diverse as possible. We want everybody's strengths, everybody's ideas and strategies, because ultimately, with a diverse pool of people, our business will move forward stronger. So, how far can you go in our company? I told you that I started as a graduate management trainee, and actually, that's where the vast majority of our employees do start. The management trainee role can be done as either a graduate, or you can actually do it on an industrial placement as well. The role itself will have you working in a store, so it's very hands-on, fast-paced, customer-facing role. And whilst in the store, you'll go through a portfolio of training. It's a really structured training program that has you involved in all areas of the business. And I mean all areas of the business. So finance, marketing, sales, customer service, risk, forecasting, logistics. You need to be able to do it all, because ultimately, once you're trained, you're ready to run that business. You're ready to step up and be an assistant manager, to start making decisions about the best way of moving that business forward, starting making decisions about how to make that business profitable, successful. And actually, you'll get paid off that too. So through that first 10 to 12 months, you'll get exposure to all of those areas of business. Now, it isn't like some companies where you would do a rotation and go and sit in that area of the head office. You do it whilst on the job. So you actually don't just get to book learn, you physically learn and you do. You do tasks in all of those areas. Typically, within around 10 to 12 months, people are through their management training program and they qualify and become a management assistant. At that point, you're ready to look around and start applying for assistant manager roles. And it is usually within a month or two before people have done that and they've gained the role of assistant manager. That's where they start making those decisions. Typically, an assistant manager's role is held for around a year. Sometimes people will experience more than one store and move and try and see some different logistical challenges or different change in business mix. And then they go to branch manager. So been with the business for about 2 years, as average, branch manager. The buck stops with you. You are making decisions. You are taking control of a quite large segment of our business. And you're also in charge of the people within there as well. So big responsibility at that branch manager level. Now, what you can see from a branch manager is that you can go off into more specialist roles. So maybe like myself in recruitment or general HR, maybe it will be sales, or maybe you'll be so in love with running a business that you'll want to move through that linear path further. You'll want to go to area manager. After you've been an area manager, it's onwards and upwards from there. And what you can see on this slide is that we only take you as far as president, but actually you can go as far as CEO with this pathway, because our current CEO and our last CEO started exactly the same way. So before I move on, I can see that there are some questions popping up in the chat, which is brilliant. Please do keep those questions coming through, because I will have a fair amount of time to answer them for you at the end. So as I'm talking, don't worry about saving them up, just get them popped in that chat box. Thank you, guys. So what jobs can you apply to? Well, our graduate management trainee role is open right now across the country. You really do get to choose the region that you want to work in. And as I said before, there's no need to relocate, but if you want to, even more opportunity there. The starting salary is $22,000, but there are bonuses available on top of that as well, which can really bolster that salary. And as I said just earlier, once you get to an assistant manager's role, which usually only takes around 12 months, you start earning a commission, which is basically a performance-based bonus. And it really is what you put in, you get out with enterprise. As I've mentioned, you'll be in rental branch and receive incredibly broad business training. If you think about it, in our business, everybody around you has done what you're doing. So whether they're a more experienced trainee, a qualified trainee, an assistant manager, a branch manager, an area manager, it really doesn't matter, because they have done what you're doing. And so the support every single day is absolutely fantastic. But on top of that, you also get a mentor. You get a formal mentor, which is somebody outside of that branch and area network who is there for you as much or as little as you want to depend on them. I personally have 8 mentees currently, and I speak to each of them at different times. Some will message me every other day. Some I might not speak to for a couple of months, and then we'll catch up. So they really are there for you. And I've already mentioned how quick that progression is. Once you're running that branch, it really is your mini business. You can make those decisions, you can make those changes, and the rest is legitimately up to you where you go from there. We also have our industrial placement roles open right now as well, which, as I've already said, is almost exactly the same role. On an industrial placement with us, you will not be photocopying, you will not be making the teas, you will be as integral to that business as anybody else in that room. In terms of the application process, it's actually easier than ever to join us. So it starts with an online application. We will not ask you for your CV. We won't ask you for your cover letter, so you don't have to spend weeks and months on end getting those perfect before you apply. Instead, you head to our website, which I'll pop in the chat box for you. On there, you hone it down to the region that you're interested in, and you start your application. It's not a drawn-out application process. It takes around 15 to 20 minutes to complete, and it will just ask you for your educational experience, your employment experience, and any extracurricular activities that you have done. We might also give you a quick call at this point, not an interview, just to make sure that we fully understand the information that you have submitted. So a quick screening call. From that point, we will then shortlist, and we'll invite the shortlisted people through to virtual interview. Now, although we're not with you at this point, we want to make it as personal as possible because we really want to get to know you, the person, not the CV. So it won't be pre-recorded. It won't be a bipping time where you have to answer a certain question. There'll be a human being, a member of our team on the other side of the call who will go through questions with you, but they're there to answer your questions as well. We want you to take this whole experience as an opportunity to learn. If you're successful at the virtual interview stage, you then come to branch visit. And the branch visit is the best thing about our recruitment process. Not a lot of companies do this, but we invite you in. We invite you into one of the stores in the region that you've applied to, one of the stores that you might well be working in if successful. You get to meet the people that are doing the job that you want to do. There is literally no better way to find out about a role. And it won't be a shiny, polished branch on a shiny, polished day. It will be a fully operational store. So you will get to see it exactly as it is. You'll get to witness our culture, see how we interact with one another, see how we interact with our customers. Is this the kind of company that you want to commit to be a part of? Hopefully, the answer is yes. We really encourage people to interact at this stage. So whether that be with the people you're sat with, whether that be with the area manager, just get involved. And then typically to cap that day off, the area manager will do an interview with you, and that'll be it. That's the keys to the door. You are a management trainee and you've started your successful career. So how will you be assessed through this process? Because it's an entry-level management trainee role, we don't expect you to come with years and years and years of experience. That's not realistic and it's not fair. So instead, all we're looking for is that you have some ability in 6 key areas: customer service, communication, work ethic, flexibility, sales aptitude, and leadership. Now, in any interview for any company, the worst thing that you can do is say, I can't do that, or no, I haven't done that. Instead, my advice to you is to think outside of the box. So you might have worked in a customer-facing role, which makes quite a few of these easy. But if you haven't, that doesn't mean that you cannot do our role. You just need to think a bit harder. So how could you demonstrate customer service if you haven't been in a customer service role? Think about the skills that you need. You need to be able to communicate. You need to be able to show empathy. You need to be able to build a rapport. You will have done those things through maybe your academic side, maybe through societies, sports teams, maybe through volunteering. So you just need to think that bit harder. And the same goes for all 6 of these. So don't be put off. Just take a minute, stop, and do some self-reflection. And I'm pretty sure you'll be able to think of something to demonstrate them all. And it's as simple as that, guys. Hopefully, together we grow. These are a few awards that we have won in the past 12 months or so. The most recent being the Organisation of the Year at the Social Mobility Awards very recently, which we're incredibly proud of. And again, just shows that fact that it doesn't matter where you start in life as to where you can go in life. Enterprise really does open that door. Our website, as I mentioned earlier, which I will pop in the chat, but it's pretty easy, is careers.enterprise.co.uk. There's a world more information on there, but that's also where you get to find our application form. So that's definitely one to take note of. And we also have our social channels. So again, please do take a snapshot of these if you want to engage with the brand, learn more about what we're doing. Yeah, just keep an eye on us. There's loads of great content that goes out on all of these. So that's it. It's as simple as that. And I'd absolutely love to answer your questions. Okay, so the questions have started firing through. First one is, do we sponsor visas? The answer is we absolutely do, Vivian, yes. We will obviously take it on a case-by-case basis, just find out from you the situation, and we can 100% support you through that. Hannah, you've asked a great question, so thank you. You've seen on the website about enterprise rent-a-cars promote from within culture. So can I tell you more about that? Well, as you saw on the career path, we obviously start everybody at that management trainee role and then move onwards and upwards from there. So as I've said, it means that everyone around you has the knowledge that you need. So every single day you're getting trained. But another fantastic thing about that promote from within culture is that it almost means that we have somewhat invisible hierarchy. Because if you imagine a local director walking in that store where you're working, they're basically you. They're just 20 years on in their career, that's all. So they don't walk in there entitled. They don't walk in there trying to make you feel intimidated. They walk in there and they want to get to know you because ultimately you are one of the people that are going to help that business drive forward. So it really does change quite a lot about our company in comparison to a lot of others. Okay, let me just have a quick check back through the chat box. Another one from Hannah. So what is the day-to-day structure like for the first year of the graduate scheme? Great questions, Hannah. The graduate scheme, as I've said, will have you do tasks in every area of the business, but you do that whilst on the job. So it's almost like, if you could appreciate, on one hand, you have the job side, which is that you do work in car rental, you're dealing with customers and you're getting them the commodity, you're getting them the car, you're going through that process. With that comes a certain degree of the admin function. So where are the cars? When are they coming back? Are the customers currently satisfied in those cars? What are the new reservations that are coming through? So you would cycle through different areas of that administrative function as well. But then on top of those things, you've got the career side. You've got the training folder. That is now housed on an online success center, and it works you through stage by stage. So it will not be that you will focus on finance for a month, and then you'll focus on marketing for a month. You'll be doing tasks in all of those areas at once. And we start with base level tasks to get you some integration into the areas of business that we've talked about. And then your knowledge builds stage after stage after stage. We do have some points where we will then do not a test, but just a quick check-in, I suppose, of your knowledge level. That'll help us redirect, it will help us further train and make sure that you're on track as you move through your further stages. So I'm sure you can appreciate, with all of those elements built into your day-to-day, no 2 days are the same. And it's really fast-paced, it's really hands-on, and you absolutely never get bored at Enterprise. Okay, Henry, great question. So what uni year should you apply for the graduate scheme? Well, we are currently taking applications and doing interviews for people to join us in the summer of 2022. If you're looking further ahead of that, then just get in touch. We'll let you know if there are opportunities for you to engage with us before you graduate, but if not, we can then notify you as soon as your year's intake starts. However, if you have graduated a while ago, that's brilliant too. You don't have to have been in the last year or two. You can apply at any time to Enterprise. And the other great thing is, because it's the only way to join our business and we're growing, we take people in every month. So if you do graduate at a different time of year, maybe because you're a master's student, or as I say, if you've already graduated, then don't wait, apply right now. How many times do you meet with your mentor, or is it up to you? Well, Hannah, it is completely up to you. Your mentor will check in with you. They will make sure that you're okay. They will sort of every other month touch base with you and book a quick catch up. But as I say, some of my mentees will touch base with me every other day. It is really, really up to you. And it's down to what you want to use that relationship for. So if it is just, formal checkpoints, then fine. But if you want to bounce ideas off them, if you want to go to them for things sort of a little bit more left field, then, make sure that you've got that communication level open and you go to them as and when you wish to. Okay, so we've got a question from India, doing a master's in the University of Birmingham. Currently in India, are you able to apply? Yes, so you are able to apply from any country, but what we will ask is that once you get to the stage of branch visit, you are able to come in to one of the stores in the region that you've applied to. So you will need to have access to that region. We cannot do that final stage interview virtually, unfortunately, just because of, like I say, we want to get to know you. We want you to see the culture, and really it can't be done in any other way. But yeah, you haven't got to be in the region when you click apply. Just understand that should you make it through to that final stage, then that is what we will ask you to do. How long does the application process take? And when will the next management trainee program start? Again, brilliant questions. So as I've mentioned, the management trainee program is ongoing. We take people every single month. It's just a case of when you're ready to join. And because of that, we can be quite flexible based on your availability too. So if you are graduating summer 2022, and if for whatever reason you want to take the summer off or go traveling or something, we can be flexible to that and we can bring you in at the end of the summer. In terms of the application process, because it is short, we do our best to process quite quickly. So typically within around 48 hours of you submitting your application form, someone will be in contact with you. And normally we can process the first stage interview within a week or two as well. Branch visit, similar time frame. If successful at virtual interview, you could see yourself going in for the branch visit in a day or two after that point, but within the next 2 weeks would be average. So it doesn't take long at all. We're definitely not one of those companies who leave you waiting. If you're an international student who can only work 20 hours per week, this role probably isn't the best for you. Now, there are some other opportunities that we could have for you to engage with us. Depending on which university you go to, there might well be an opportunity to represent us on campus at that university. And we're also looking at doing some internships online as well. So that could be another opportunity to engage. But the graduate management trainee role is a full-time role, and so you would need to be available to work for that period. So Stephen, is the graduate scheme focused on a lot of orientation style activities, or would a trainee hit the ground running? What may the first few weeks look like? So it's not orientation style activities. So it is very much learn on the job. We have a very human side to our business and to our training style. And as I've said a few times, we've all been there. I still cringe when I think of some of the mistakes that I made as a trainee, but that's okay because we're human and there's somebody there to support you and help you and teach you for the next time. So we do get stuck in, we do have people sort of day one picking up the phone. We don't train you for 3 months on what to say when you pick up a phone. It's not that kind of business. It's very much kind of learn by doing. But like I say, because you've got the support around you, you've got people who have done the role for much longer than you. You've got people that have sort of made their own mistakes and can train you from them. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. Very, very human way of learning. Okay, so Mohammed's mentioned that he would like to hear more about what was the deciding factor, the aha moment for me that made me say, this is the company that I want to join. Right, well, this is a great question. So I didn't actually study anything to do with business. I studied fashion. And like I said at the start, I didn't grow up dreaming of renting cars. I don't think anybody really does. So for me, it was once I understood more about my potential after my university degree. I explored the natural path, the path I thought that I would go down, and I decided because of ethical reasons, it wasn't the pathway that I wanted to pursue any longer. For me, I had a car accident and I was fine, by the way, and it wasn't my fault. But the car that I got in replacement of my own when it was off the road came from Enterprise. I was told quite a lot about the graduate role from the employee at the time. And as I'd realized that I didn't want to be in fashion anymore, I started to look at careers in business. And once I realized that enterprise took from every discipline, I started to understand that that could actually happen for me, and I wouldn't have to go back and start another degree or do further study to get there. That was kind of what made me apply. I wanted experience and exposure to that industry. I wanted to learn more about it. I wanted the opportunity to, fill in a graduate application form and do a graduate interview, and at the time, an assessment centre. And I just thought this was going to be great experience for me. And hopefully at one stage, it would lead to something. I didn't even think it would be enterprise. I just thought I would gain exposure from that. But I really was fortunate and I got the job. I wasn't sure where that would take me. I didn't know anything about cars. I don't know much about cars today as it stands either. But the more that I saw about the business, I was kind of in shock, if I'm honest. I was given so much training and so much development and so much responsibility from a really, really early stage. And it became almost addictive for me. I wanted more. I wanted more. I wanted more. I passed my training in just under 10 months. I was promoted to an assistant manager in 10 months. I got a bigger branch 3 months later, a branch manager's role in just under 2 years. And it just felt like there was constant opportunity. I was constantly learning, constantly driving forward in my career. And I knew there was more opportunity for me in front of me, more opportunity to develop, to get promoted, to make more money, to take more ownership of different areas of the business. And it really did, for the first maybe 6, 7, 8 years, I didn't even blink. It was just natural progression through the ranks, through the development stages. And it was only maybe once I was an area manager that I looked around and realized what I'd achieved. But that is enterprise. That genuinely is enterprise. The opportunities are endless. And really all you have to do is put the effort in and it's there for you. So I can't tell you that I woke up at 2 a.m. one morning and thought, this is my aha moment, this is the company for me. But it was just very progressional. And I just loved it, absolutely loved it. I hope that answers your question, but do tell me if it doesn't. Okay, so yes, we do have a requirement that you do have to have a driving license. So we do ask for a full UK driver's license because there is a fair proportion of driving involved in the role. And we need to make sure that we have an opportunity to check that license frequently from a duty of care perspective to look after you as an employee, but also other road users as well. This is one of the reasons that we've made our recruitment process so short, because we do understand that there have been some delays with the DVLA. And so you won't miss out, but we do ask that you get that license process before you apply, basically. Performance evaluation at enterprise. We are really clear in what we look for in that respect. So when you're a trainee, you will have obviously your training folder. So the completion of your training folder will show that you're performing well. You'll also have some targets to achieve. So they will be in things like sales and customer service, and also relationship development, sort of with the local body shops and dealerships and businesses. So those things will kind of reflect your performance in terms of a number. They're evaluated quite clearly. You can see how you're performing. It's very transparent. And you can also see if somebody's performing better so that you can go to them and you can find out what they're doing. And we are very much of that ilk where if you find something that works, we ask you to share it with the wider workforce, and people will do that with you and for you throughout your career. When you get into the management levels, it's similar, but obviously at that point you have control over more areas of the business. So as opposed to us looking at your personal performance, once you get into management, it's about the overall branch. It's about the performance in terms of how the employees are being developed, how the employees are sort of being promoted, your customer service performance as a store. It's around how you're growing the business and how you're moving into new avenues. And then it's around the control piece and the financial element of revenue generation, cost control, and overall profitability. In terms of what sets enterprise apart from others in our industry, it's our people, 100%. Because of our promote from within culture, we hire people who are always looking at something bigger. They're looking to be business leaders. And that changes the person that serves our customer. So our customer service is head and shoulders above. It's out there, and that is what we are known for. And that's what changes our business. We're constantly evolving, we're constantly pushing forward, and it all comes from our fantastic workforce. Great questions, guys. I love this. Okay, Boxy, let's see what you want to know. So what are some of the challenges that you would expect somebody in the trainee position to face in the early stages? What an absolutely fantastic question. So in terms of the initial stages of the role, we understand that we do work hard at Enterprise. So that work ethic piece, as I've mentioned, is something that we look for when you apply. And it's because we do very much pop you in there, straight in there in the store, very hands-on, fast-paced environment from day one. And the responsibility that you pick up at that point is more than most companies and more than most employees would probably expect. I've already talked about the fantastic support that you'll get to help you through. But in terms of initial challenges, they're twofold. They are the hours, because we do work hard. We do genuinely work hard. However, because it's so changeable, because it's so adaptable and no 2 days are different, you don't notice it. It's not like, we're not a 9 to 5, but you kind of get through the week and it's gone without it being a challenge. And then the other thing is you need to give yourself an opportunity to learn. So I personally had been used to going into a part-time job when I was at uni, maybe getting one training session, and after a week or two kind of thinking, I know what I'm doing. I've got this, it's fine, don't worry about it. And it was almost a no-brainer from that point. But Enterprise isn't that. There's so much to get your hands on. There's so much to learn that you need to give yourself the opportunity to take it in. And we found sometimes that because we tend to hire quite ambitious, driven people, they become a little bit annoyed with themselves for not knowing it sooner. But as long as you give yourself that time and you have the right mindset that you want to develop and you want to learn, then Enterprise is fantastic. Okay, so I think I might have got through all of the questions. Is there anything else that anybody on the call would like to know? Please do pop them in the chat box. I would hate to leave the call and not having answered any of your questions. Okay. So it looks like we've answered all of Mohammed's. Thank you so much for popping great questions in there. No problem at all, Henry. Thank you for joining us today. I hope the information has helped you. Okay, thank you so much. Brilliant. So Hannah, brilliant. We've got through all of your questions, and Stephen, we've got through yours too. Fantastic. That is absolutely great news. Like I say, guys, please feel free to pop anything else into the chat box. I know I've got through quite a lot today, so I'm sorry if I've thrown too much information at you. But obviously you have been invited to join this session from a contact that you already have at Enterprise. So if once you log off the call and you digest that information, you have further questions, then please just come back to us. Let us know what they are, because we would be more than happy to answer anything further for you. Okay, we've got a link in the chat box here. I'm just going to pop that link in to our website, as mentioned earlier. Thank you so much for joining us, everybody. And as I say, if you do have further questions, I'm pretty sure that you will have a contact from Enterprise already who you have engaged with. Feel free to go back to them, but also keep an eye out in your inbox, because we'll have more of these sessions coming up in the next few weeks. And you are more than welcome to join again. Thank you, everybody, for joining. One last shout, if there's anything else, just pop it in the chat box. If not, enjoy the rest of your Monday afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for the absolutely brilliant questions. It's been a pleasure to sit and talk to you. I hope I haven't bored you. And yeah, we look forward to hearing from you again soon, and hopefully seeing that application form come through. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Take care.